Flesh and Blood is full of complex rules and interactions, so in today's video I wanted to go over our favorite interactions that are helpful, interesting, and or straight up funny. And if you're in the market, make sure to check out Midtown Game Exchange, your one-stop shop for all Flesh and Blood cards at the most affordable prices. And big thanks to Midtown for sponsoring this video. But the first interaction we'll be talking about is the cheeky little trick you can do with Swarming Gloomveil and Force of Nature as Briar. So how it works is, firstly you'll pitch a blue to create a rune chant with Grasp of the Arknight and play Force of Nature, no fuse. Next you'll play Swarming Gloomveil for 3 go again, thanks to the rune chant. Now your opponent is most likely not going to block here due to the power not being higher than its base, so your opponent will take 3 damage. But now here's where the interesting part happens. In the damage step, this creates an embodiment of Earth thanks to Briar's hero ability. But when this is created, Swarming rechecks the board state and sees that we've made 2 auras this turn, giving it +1 attack after the damage step in the effect step. But now Force of Nature will also check in that same step on if the attack's power is greater than its base, thus drawing you a card from an unbuffed hit. So make sure not to get cheesed by this one at your skirmish this weekend. But next up we have Mask of Malicious Intent when paired with Korshem, Crossroad of Elements. Korshem is an elemental action landmark that's worded very weirdly for flavor, but it essentially says whenever you reveal a card, you get to gain 1 resource or 1 life, or your next attack gets +1, or your next action blocks for +1. And Mask of Malicious Intent is a headpiece that reads, action, pay 1, put a card from your hand or arsenal to the bottom of your deck, then destroy the mask. Reveal cards from the top of your deck until you reveal an attack action. Put it into your hand, shuffle, go again. And all you need to do with this combo is have Korshem on the field or play it this turn. Then we activate Mask of Malicious Intent, and as long as we have no attacks in our deck, this will reveal every single card in our deck, which will trigger Korshem's ability like 50 to 60 times. We can then use those triggers for +60 damage on our next attack, which will more than likely one-shot our opponent even through full block. But now, if we're able to set up an amplifying arrow in our arsenal before we do all of this, we'll instead be able to gain +2 for each card revealed from our mask due to both Korshem's and Amplifying's abilities. And if you want to take it to Magical Fairy Christmas Land, now imagine the card we bottomed from our mask activation was our one of Gore Belching. This means we would reveal our entire deck to show a Gore Belching, giving our next attack +50 from Korshem. We then attack with the Gore Belching for 57, revealing our entire deck again, which triggers Korshem another 50 times for our next attack. We Snapdragons the Gore Belching, then we attack with Amplifying Arrow for 2 +50 from the Korshem triggers, which gets another +50 from its own triggers, all up being like a 150 damage turn. So another funny as fuck interaction, which honestly seems really easy to replicate in game. But next up we have the ALS loop in Prism. This one's a little bit more known, I would say, but I don't think I've actually heard anyone explain it. So here it goes. How it works is we need 2 Arclight Sentinels, 1 in the arsenal and 1 in the graveyard, and a Figment of Rebirth. Then all we're going to do is flip and attack with our Rebirth, triggering its ability to put the ALS from our graveyard to the top of our deck. Then we're going to play out our ALS from our arsenal, pass the turn, drawing into our new ALS. The opponent is now forced to kill our Arclight on board, triggering Spectra, which essentially turns off their turn on the spot. Then, back to our turn, we simply attack with our Angel of Rebirth again, placing the ALS that just got destroyed to the top of our deck, while playing out the one that we have in our hand that we placed there last turn. This interaction is a little sketchy though, due to needing either a large amount of soul prior to commencing this combo, or a Genesis out on board to fuel the soul costs needed to activate Rebirth's ability every single turn. And you also need to make sure you draw 8 resources minimum to be able to afford both the Rebirth attack and the ALS in the same turn. But even with these inconsistencies, just looping this a couple turns is usually enough to put you too far ahead in the game. So that's it for the ALS loop. And lastly, let's go over one I don't think I've actually heard from anyone else, which is Transmogrify plus Fractal Replication. So Fractal says when you play or defend with it, it gains the base abilities of all Illusionist attack action cards on the combat chain. Fractal's power is equal to the greatest base power among Illusion attack actions on the chain, and same goes for its defense. Then Transmogrify reads, the next attack action card you play this turn is Illusionist, has 8 base power, and gains Phantasm, go again. And this one actually works a little different to what you think due to the specific wording on each card. So how it works is we can essentially use Transmogrify to turn any attack action we want into an illusionist attack. So the Fractal will copy the base power of that card, which Morgify actually specifically changes the base to 8. So off the bat, Fractal is already a 0 for 8, but on top of that, it will also copy the base abilities of the attack we Transmogrify. So for example, if we Morgify Mischievous Meeps, it will be an 8 power, go again, on hit draw a card or steal an item with Phantasm, illusionist attack. That will let us follow up with Fractal now for 8 go again, on hit, draw a card or steal an item, but without Phantasm this time. And this is because Transmogrify is saying that the attack gains Phantasm, means it's not actually a base ability, with Fractal only copying the base abilities. But this little secret tech has been cooking in my back pocket for a while now, just waiting for LSS to release a couple more broken base abilities to copy with this interaction. So you're welcome for me letting you in on a little secret. But if you've been following us for a while now, you know that we like to make pretty random video ideas at times, and it's just to see what type of content you guys really want to see so we can keep making more of it. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to tell us in the comments below, because we actually got like 20 more interactions just like these ready to go if this one gets received well. But that's it for the video, and we outie. Peace.